Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot. And really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe for the Believe Entertainment Network at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the Militia live on X Spaces for the fan feedback segment of every post-game show. We're going to talk about Syracuse's 44-41 win in overtime in Vegas this past Friday. Sorry we didn't get here yesterday. It would have been ideal, but it didn't happen. So, most of all, through that game with the late start and the travel into the West Coast, the resilience of Syracuse kind of showed out. After going up 14-0, making this thing look like it was going to be a blowout, and then UNLV storms back with 21 unanswered points, putting Orange back on their heels, and it was kind of frustrating for all of us to watch, I'm sure, but they didn't fold. That's the most important thing. They got their heads back in it, especially once halftime came and left. Kyle McCord led the tying drive with under 3 minutes left, capping off with a clutch catch from Jackson Meeks to get going to overtime, and then after I was given the defense the business, Fadil Diggs just steps up when it mattered most and got that sack. They had to settle for that field goal. That was huge. And then LaQuinn Allen's touchdown run, obviously, capped that off on 1st and goal. And, it just was no quit. In these guys, and talk about toughness. LaQuinn Allen played through some kind of lower leg injury and play some of that through the montage there. But just, grit, man.
You weren't too confident at halftime.
I wasn't too happy at halftime. I was not too happy at halftime. I was very frustrating. And I even put out a poll, I think, on Twitter. I did. Just for 20 minutes, I put out a poll on Twitter about second half adjustments, and everybody seemed to think that, they were going to come through. I'm trying to find it. 87 votes, and 65.5% said, yeah, they were going to be able to make those adjustments, because UNLV made adjustments in game before the half. And we just kind of failed to do the same once things changed and momentum shifted. And momentum's huge in sports, and UNLV didn't. They put their heads down too, going down 14-0 and coming back with a 21-point rout. After going 3 and out a couple times, it was about what I thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to be tough, and it was close. I watching the beginning of that game, you're like, man, this could get boring, but ended up being close enough. And we can go back and we can talk about, and UNLV fans are all pissed off about the roughing the passer call, but it was a roughing the passer, and it was, what was it, 3rd and 20? They got to, it was 3rd and 20, I believe. They got to 3rd and 20 at that point because there was a crap call before that. If we want to get all technical about it, you know what I'm saying? So that chop block call was questionable, right? So I don't like refs being a factor in win or loss. I think it sucks either way. But it is what it is, and Syracuse went down and executed, and like I said, that Fadil Diggs sack, that was so big. So I don't think it goes unnoticed, but I think it's a little underestimated, because I did not want to get in a back and forth in overtime like that, and right. So when Fadil Diggs got that sack, I was like, okay, man, we got to get our stuff together and get down there and just push this thing in. So, and then
Coach talks about that too.
Yeah, he talked about that. And what I don't have in the montage is that they did talk about going for 2 on the game tying touchdown in regulation. And I think there was like 23 seconds left on the clock at that point. And I mean, Coach said he didn't have the stomach for it. He said he didn't have the heart for it, but I think he has the heart, but he didn't have the stomach. At the end of the day, that's one of those make or break calls. And if it works, you're a genius. And if it doesn't work, you're a terrible coach. And what are you doing? Right. So it's always, in my opinion, it's always best to go ahead and take the easy point and tie that thing up and go into overtime. So
yeah. And again, you don't want to lose confidence in your defense. So I think doing that shows, and special teams really, right? Doing that shows that you're confident that the special teams can go out there after the kicking game last game and make that PAT, and then trusting that your defense can make a stop, in overtime, right? I mean, I feel like our red zone defense has been solid this year, and we spoke at halftime and about how they got some of their. I don't think that they sustained too many long drives, thus the almost doubling their time of possession and having more yards. I think that we were sustaining more drives, had way more, third down conversions and first downs and things of that nature. They had a 42-yard run that put them in position to get a touchdown, a 53-yard pass that put them in position to get a touchdown. So when you shorten the field like that in overtime, then I felt like it was kind of a plus for our defense versus their offense.
Yeah, and they showed up. I mean, they had their moments and their ups and downs in that game, and I mean, I think they got a lot. They've got some work to do. I think the offense is gelling. I mean, it was just so good to see Arande get back in there. I think he ended up with 142 and on 10 catches. Is that right? I have this written down. Yeah, 142 on 10 receptions. So they weren't double teaming him. I think Coach talks about that a little bit, and it was just good to see him get back in the mix. And I don't want to go through too much before the montage. So, and then we'll go right from the montage to fan feedback, just to eliminate the repetitiveness that sometimes happens. Because I have not looked at fan feedback. It is, I can see how many comments are here.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot on Twitter. There's 59 on Twitter. So that's a ton, a lot of excitement. I stayed up. I was so up, actually. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. I was way more up than I should have been. So
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank God it was an exciting game, right? That was the one thing I was worried about, was it not being an exciting game and people not being able to make it up.
Well, it's funny, too, because do you understand why I didn't know if that was Allegiant Stadium or not? Can you see now why, when I was watching UNLV last week or what it was, whatever it was, they don't show the stands? And here's why. Because they can't even come close to filling it. They can't even get close. It's a huge stadium. So they don't show the seats because they're all empty.
They cover the top. Like the top part, they don't even sell the tickets for up there.
Oh, okay. They cover it up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a bit, I mean, that's why I was confused about it. It just didn't look like Allegiant Stadium. But anyway, I stayed up. It was a great game. Enough can't be said about Syracuse going that distance and playing at that time of night. It just goes to show, like, I don't think Kyle McCord can get enough credit for his leadership and poise, just in general, but especially through this game when, he wasn't. There was a lot of check down passes, a lot of short stuff for the whole rest of the first half after we scored those first 14 points. And then we kind of got, stunned a little bit. And it was kind of frustrating, but man, they kept chipping away, and look when Allen got in there and he did his thing. The whole game, 71 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns there, 58 yards through the air and 2 touchdowns there. I mean, man, It took everybody in this one. You know what I'm saying? Everybody did something except for Stonehouse. That was not his fault, but he didn't do much. That was
a negative 13-yard rush.
Oh, what a disaster. We talked about that. You mentioned it. You mentioned what they do with their special teams, and I have to imagine that our coaches knew the same. And, I mean, we don't have to talk too much about it, but, I mean, apparently not as easy to prepare for as you would assume. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they have 3 blocked punts in, the 5 games they've played. So, something they're good at. Obviously we have issues on special teams, but I don't think it's anything that we can't fix. And UNLV just happens to be really good on special teams. So, that's
you take
Stonehouse on that one. I mean, by him doing that, he probably saved the touchdown and at least gave our defense a chance to hold him.
You think about, you clean that up, and that's 14 points off the board. I mean, It was an indirect 7 and a direct 7. So,
yeah,
I'm just going to call 14 points off the board. It doesn't even go into overtime.
Right.
And they win fairly comfortably. So,
yeah, and I mean, McCord also had an interception going. I mean, in the red zone too, right? So,
yeah,
there were other things too. All I know is that I don't think I've ever seen a punt get blocked so far before in my life.
Like far backwards, you mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, they weren't.
I've seen a scoop and score and everything, but I think they were punting from the 40-yard line.
Were they really?
Yeah.
I don't think they were. Were they?
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes. Well,
that ball got blocked and it bounced 45 yards backwards before anybody got it.
That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Okay. That'll do it for us for now. Let's hear what Coach had to say following the win.
In regards to the point, I mean, just doing it with both his legs and receiving as well, coming up with 4 touchdowns tonight, just talk about it.
I mean, he's been doing that. That's what he does. That's a Quint. I mean, never stops talking, never stops just wanting the football. He's never not open. He's just he's a competitive guy, man. And it comes from his family, though. It's the bloodline. His mom's competitive. You get a chance to meet her and talk to her, but he works hard every day. I mean, LaQuint was really hurt in the first half, banged up bad. And he said, I was like, how's it feel? Just tell me the truth. He said, it hurt really bad. I said, scale from 1 to 10. He was like an 8. And he said, but I'm playing. And I said, all right. His knee or his leg, his lower leg. Yeah, lower leg. I mean, that's why he kept limping, and he never really got out because his leg was bothering him. But we got Brandon Hall, and Brandon seen him at halftime, and Brandon got on him. I think we got one of the better trainers in the country. So Brandon just took care of him, and we got faith in Brandon, and Brandon makes the kids believe that he's like a superhero. So he brings them back. Just like I said in the beginning, hats off to them, but we just made one more play. It was 2 good football teams out there playing ball, 2 guys just taking shots, going back and forth. And, we got one more play. We made one more play. We were able to make that play on 3rd down on the defense when Fidel ended up getting that tackle. And then they kicked the field goal. And then we went and we got the targeting, 1st down. And as soon as we got the target, I said, we're running the effing ball in the end zone. Run the ball. And, just end up going that way. Aronde will get the ball when he's open, and he's done an amazing job blocking the last 3 weeks, which everybody don't want to talk about. They only want to talk about Aronde didn't catch, Aronde didn't this. Do you know every run touchdown that we had, Aronde was in, and he was blocking for him and doing those things. So I think he's doing an amazing job, and we know he can catch, and now he's showing you that he can block. So he's a complete tight end that, he's just that guy. He's the X factor that we have. I knew it was coming from somebody. I was thinking it was going to be you, though, but unfortunately it was her. Yeah, we got to fix it, guys. It was blocked. The other one almost blocked. It was bad, and we have to get it fixed, and it's not like it can't be fixed. It was a mistake Somebody said they made a call, said something in when they shouldn't have brung a guy in by them bringing it in. And then number 8 moved in a little more. He made the edge tighter on the first one when he shouldn't have made the edge tighter. And then they ended up blocking it. And then the second one, just 2 of our star players didn't get to their blocks. Literally, they didn't block them at all, so they went through and blocked. And I showed them that because last week they blocked another punt against Fresno when nobody blocked 41 right up the middle, and it was just open, and they blocked it. So we did the same thing. So, I mean, I guess we're becoming insane. So we did the same thing they did. We was expecting different results, but they blocked it. And then number 11, as usual, goes and scores. Same exact thing. It was like deja vu. Happened all over again. So, I mean, we got to get it better. I'm the head football coach, and I'm obviously not doing a good job in that area, which I have to fix. And I'm going to work myself to fix it. I'm going to look at different things. I'm going to call some guys that I besides talking with our strength coach, and I'm going to just call some guys that I truly trust in the industry that I think are really, really good, like high-level thinkers of it, and just see what's the best way to fix it before NC State.
What's your confidence level in Coach Milano being this?
No, my confidence is good and all that. Yeah, don't do that. That's not cool. He got a wife and kids and all. My confidence level is extremely high. It should be my confidence level in me. Milano does a great job. So, like I said, 2 kids didn't block. Would you ask what was my confidence level in them? Yeah, so.
Star players, you said, and they missed their blocks.
Yeah, cool. Well, I mean, just how it goes sometimes. That's the nature of a sport, you know. Sometimes the other guy wins that matchup. You don't be able to do everything all the time. I know a lot of times they said that Michael Jordan missed more game-winning shots than he made, but you're not saying nothing about Mike. So they're young kids, and he's a great football coach that's done a good job for a long time. Maybe it's me. Maybe I need to do something to put them in better situations. So I'm going to go look in the mirror, and then I'll fix that. But I don't really want to ever have to answer questions about somebody that I work with when he has a wife and kids and things of that nature on here. I think that's disrespectful. You up now? And we made one more play. When you really look at the game, we made one more play than they made, and it's good to go. But you know the things y'all not talking about when it comes? We beat another top 25 football team. It's the first time that happened since 2010. Isn't that the date y'all told me? First road, top 25 win since 2010, and then tell them the other piece you said to me.
First multi-win season against top 25 teams in the regular season since 2001.
Yeah, and with our special teams like that. So we're going to get that better. And I didn't want to say all that.
Well, there you have it. Look, dude, let me tell you, man. I love this coach. He just don't play. He's just gonna get you to learn. And look, the question's legit to a degree, right? Because reporters are supposed to ask questions that everybody's thinking. We used to not bag on, but we used to joke Stephen Bailey at one point because he would always ask, and he was the injury question guy, right?
Yeah.
And we all knew it was always coming, and he never got an answer, but he kept doing it because, I mean, at the end of the day, he's asking questions that we all want the answers to, right? I think everybody's thinking, oh, well, the special team coach is that. But look, this guy, I mean, Coach Brown, he's just not going to play with that. He's going to let you know. And you
best
know,
part.
Huh?
The best part.
It is. It's none of this.
You can see it when he has, like, there's a lot of times he'll even ask if he doesn't understand it. It's like he's not going to get caught up in the gotcha moment, right?
Right. He asked for clarification. You mean when he if he's not quite sure? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when people do that, like realistically, yes, as fans, we have questions, right? But you can't just put stuff out there like that, right? Because we have to understand too that, I mean, his relationship with his players and his coaches and what he says and how he responds to questions can have an effect on this team.
A huge effect.
And he understands that. So
right.
He's not going to fall for it. And, he with being as nice as possible, lets you know that he don't want to take questions like that. Same thing with the Zeke Haynes stuff, right?
Right. So,
like if he spills something or he says something, then he loses the trust of a guy that left Georgia to come here, right? He's got a personal matter, and it's not any of our business. Do we want to know? Would we like to know? Because he's not there? Sure. End of the day, none of our business.
None of our business. He already said once it was a personal matter, and not for anything. First of all, this is nothing against Emily. Okay, she's great. She asks a lot of good questions. In fact, she's in the freaking montage probably every week. So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those, it's a question that you're not going to get a direct answer for anyway. So he's just basically saying, okay, look, well, I'm just going to stop this right here because I'm just going to make everybody feel this one. So that way I'm not put in this position again to have to answer or to be asked a question that I'm not going to answer anyway.
Right. Right. And to be fair, this is the first season, first couple games, 5 games with this coach. So
they're getting to know, the media's getting to know the coach and his tendencies, and he's letting he's helping them along.
Right. And at the end of the day, it gets to a point to where you either realize that he's not going to budge or answer and you just don't ask those type of questions, or you might get some type of answer like that might feel a little embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little cringy. It's like, oof, man. It's like, that had to have sucked.
It could have been way worse.
It could have been.
It can be way worse.
Yeah, it could have been. Kyle McCord, though, one thing that I have, I mean, maybe it's somewhere, but he's breaking his own records now, week to week, that he already set. So 5 300-plus yard games is him breaking his record from last week with 4. So what is he at? 1,800 and some change, 1,814 yards so far through 5 games. Just amazing. 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Those are some impressive numbers. Seriously impressive. So
yeah, there'll be people that complain about the interceptions, but
at least the one. Well, look, they're gonna happen. It's about the ratio to me. If you know what I'm saying, I mean, if the touchdown to interception ratio is 17-6, I mean, I always look at it as, if you're double your interceptions, it's okay.
Yeah, you throw the ball 50+, 60+ times.
Yes. Yeah.
One goes the other way. I mean, to Tyler's point, we spoke a little bit yesterday or texted a little bit, like, if there's anybody that's allowed a mistake every once in a while for what they're doing for the team, I think it's him.
It's a great point too, because he can pull himself out of some situations. There's a lot of quarterbacks.
He has.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of quarterbacks that can't do that. I mean, that's what I mean by he's poised. Like, he didn't seem rattled, but he seemed frustrated through those first couple drives after UNLV scored, and then it became tied, and then they went 21-14, and it's like you could see the frustration a little bit, but he didn't let it affect the way he was playing. And it's just that's huge leadership qualities. That stuff's not taught. That stuff is in you. You know what I'm saying?
You've already seen it, right? We've seen it in the Stanford game. Go down and get an end of the game touchdown to take the lead. We just left a little bit too much time. Did the same thing here.
Yeah,
a couple different times.
Yep.
It says something when you go down in a game and then you have you don't make the mistake. You step up to the plate and go back and grab the bull by the horns and take the lead again. So definitely a resilient team that's that whole Dart mentality with coach. You can see it. It's just not everything's perfect. But again, past teams, those type of mistakes, they probably wouldn't have came back from. And this team has shown that they can.
Yep. All right. It's time to hear from you.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
All right, you guys know what to do at the end of every game. I ask for your thoughts on that game, and you leave them on social media. And by social media, I mean Facebook and Twitter. And I'm going to set up the live right now because I forgot. But let's start with Joe. Why don't you hit up something on Facebook for me real quick so I can fix my error.
Yeah, it's fine. I think we had 26 comments on Facebook. So, I'll start with the everyday basic one. Top fan Dom, Facebook sucks.
I'm clapping for Dom and his comment both at the same time.
And I'm sure he probably left one on Twitter. Listen to the Brian Higgins postgame. I think he called in on that too. So he was up. Let's see. Our boy Zach. I have come out of hibernation. I'm sorry, but our special teams coach has to go. There's going to be a lot of that in these comments. Mm-hmm. Absolutely inexcusable. Without those 2 punts, the game is already over. People at the game stated Fran was ripping him a new one on the sidelines. What a breath of fresh air. Very proud of Fran and company for fighting through the adversity. This is a very, very good UNLV team. We can beat anyone and lose to anyone remaining on the schedule. Buckle up. It's going to be a wild year.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that. It was on TV too. So, yeah, I mean, look, there has been some terrible special teams play. Now, to coach's point too, imagine now if they clean that up. I mean, if they can clean that up, like he said at the end of the montage,
right.
You know,
right.
We beat a top 25 team in their house, and you know our special teams ain't playing exactly the way we want them to. And imagine if we can clean that up, and we're, like I said, we win that game comfortably in regulation. You got to figure 14 points is off the board. So, at the end of the day, there's work to be done. And to your point, just from a minute ago, it's still early, and they're still really trying to figure stuff out. So, they will. I mean, I'm not sure how many people really gave them a fair shake in their minds for even going out west like that and winning that game. And they could have done. I mean, it could have been over in regulation. However, it wasn't, and they still won. So,
yep.
Anyway, at Cuse Waterboy, lots to clean up for sure, but I love this offense, and we'll take an ugly W any day, especially on the road out west. Let's effing go. LaQuint Allen will not be denied. Yeah, fighting through whatever injury, lower leg injury he had going on, and going out there and making a huge difference was awesome. And Willis too, 8 rushes for 62 yards. That's pretty good. So
good.
Yeah, you got it. They complement each other pretty good, and I think that's only going to get better. I guess no one asked about. Well, they didn't follow up with the LaQuint Allen question. I mean, whatever it might be, let's just hope it's okay going into NC State. I mean, it didn't seem like he wouldn't be there or able to play, but
yeah,
you wonder.
Well, so I listened to the players post game too, and LaQuint was talking about how he was just. They were asking what they did and everything like that. He put a sleeve on, and he said he just had to keep it warm. So to me, that says that
muscle
it's
or something.
Either a muscle or some type of sprain, like around the knee area, and once you stop moving and let that thing start stiffening up and kind of just it's going to be tough. It's going to be something. A lot of times when you're in game, and as long you got the adrenaline going and you keep moving and you keep it warm so it doesn't get tight.
Yeah, you don't feel it until yesterday morning.
Yeah, like he's going to feel that the next morning, and then let's see what happens. You get some of the swelling down. He's going to have to ice it, and he's definitely going to be in the training room this week for sure.
Yeah, well, hopefully another night game too. What's that one? 8:00 on Saturday? Is that right?
At least there's a Friday game. Gives him an extra day.
It's true. Yeah. All right, let's see here. At Mr. Mike Winch. They deserved the win. They outplayed UNLV, made dumb mistakes, and special teams is far from special, but a good win. Yeah, They did outplay them. I mean, well, they won the game, but besides that, you take away a couple mistakes that we talked about, and it's a pretty decent, clean game. So I don't know what the penalties were, but there wasn't a lot of flags flying, and what's that?
UNLV had a decent amount. They had 9 for 108 yards. Yeah. We had 7 for 56.
Okay, well maybe I blocked that out because I don't remember it being terrible. But yeah, I mean, just the two at the end of the game were somewhat controversial, and it is what it is. Tit for tat.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna make mistakes, right?
Yeah,
like that's what happens in games. But yeah, if you play a clean game, then I feel like you kind of walk away dominating that game, and you probably win in regulation by 10 plus points.
Yeah. Let's see at McOrange SC. Fire the damn special teams coach. Spotted them 14 points due to special teams playing, gutted out the win, but that part off the game just can't be that bad, whatever that means. Yeah. See what happens going forward. I mean, I noticed that they took Denenberg out. So, I mean...
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about it, really. But, Jaden O, 1 for 1, 21 yards, but made his extra points, right? So, that's good, I guess. At least we have a backup. And, maybe that's just going to light a fire under Denenberg. And he's not a bad kicker. Just did not have a great game. And I think there's just some things that they're going to try and,
Kicked one out of bounds, right, on a kickoff, too, right?
Oh, he did. He sure did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
look, sometimes people are just going through, like, we've spoke about it before, like, sometimes there's things outside of football that are dealing with people, and obviously we know that kickers can go from great to now all of a sudden they got something going on and now they can't hit anything, right? And a lot of that stuff is mental, psychological as far as that's concerned. So you can't lose your confidence, right? If you lose your confidence for a little while, then sometimes you got to do something to take it back. I think that just speaks to exactly what Fran Brown spoke about. I don't think you had the blip or the comment of what he said about it, but talking about playing the younger guys, they have talent there. Are there some things they can't do that they can't rely on them to do and put them in certain positions? Yes, but you still gotta play them. You got to give them chances, right? I mean, you see what King Joseph Edwards did, and next thing you know, he got in there in a couple drives where it was obvious third down passing, and didn't do too bad on a couple plays that he was in there. So even if it comes down to a kicker, this guy I'm pretty sure is a walk-on kicker, but if he's doing better in practice, if it's just to get PATs, then you got to put him in there. Yeah. Like Fran's proving he's not going to just keep the older guys in there, or the experienced guys, if they're not doing their job.
Right.
It's next man up, and your job's always on the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
very few players.
It's just it's not a negative thing, but it's like, okay, hey, well, look, you're struggling right now. Well, we're going to try this.
It's not a negative. What it's meant to keep people from getting complacent.
Right? Sure.
And that's really where it is. There's been teams sometimes where you just know, like guys know, like, you're not going to take me out. I'm a senior, or I'm a graduate this, or I got the starting job. Like in this, there's very few players on this team that I feel like have a position like locked in, and they just can kind of sit back and mail it in. Like that's how your team gets better. Make everybody work no matter how good they're playing. And if they're not doing their job, bring the next man up.
At Dave T1209, I've been critical, and there were things to criticize about this one, but there was a lot to celebrate too. Big road dub for Fran. First of many, I hope. McCord shaking off a bad interception to get the tying score, and what a run by Allen to cap off a huge game for him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how big this win is. Yeah, I guess we won't know how big this win was until later on. But at 4-1, and That was the big question mark before the season started. Are they going to start 5-0 or are they going to start 4-1? Because we were hoping anyway that we'd at least get to 4-1, and here we are. So that's good. I mean, we've seen these teams start strong though too, and then have issues down the road, and most of those were injury related. So you heard Coach in the montage giving credit to the trainer and the faith that he has and the team has in him. So. All of that makes a difference, and just staying healthy. These teams have had a hard time staying healthy, and it's been you know what I'm saying. It's just been an issue, and what's that come down to? I mean, we really don't know, but we have our suspicions. So
I mean, we could, right? But that's where depth comes in too. That's where Brand's doing and changing it up and getting other people in there and getting guys reps. So that they could be ready later in the season, right? So you're not just relying on the same people or the same group of guys, and then if something happens, then the next guys aren't as prepared as they could be, right?
At Tim Abbott 44, good road win over a ranked opponent. So many issues on defense, though. Rarely do they set an edge and do not tackle well. I wish they would pressure more. I feel like we have the talent to pressure the quarterback more, and I'm not seeing it. But I don't know. I guess you don't want to bring too much when you got an elusive guy like Haj Malik back there who did a pretty good job. Syracuse really did a good job containing the run game. I think UNLV averaged something like 280 yards a game rushing and held them to 127. He's going to have those moments. A guy like Williams is going to have those moments where he's going to get away, he's going to get a first down, or he's going to scramble out of pressure, and he's going to make you look silly. But at the end of the day, it's limiting it. You know what I'm saying? And he's go ahead.
That's all those UNLV fans that want to complain about that roughing the passer. I think that there was missed calls and makeup calls throughout that whole game. I believe the one touchdown that Haj did actually get out there and get around the outside, to me, that looked like a hole on Fidelio Diggs, got away with it, got the touchdown. But also, this is what we spoke about in the podcast, right, was to hold their offense game in the running game and to hold him from not being able to scramble and force him to throw, right?
Yeah, that's because he's not great at throwing the ball, but he did good.
Right. So, I mean, he's still good, but you have the previous game he ran for over 100 yards. So when you got a quarterback that's, throwing for nearly 200 and then another 100 on the ground, that's where the problem is, right? So let's make him do it in the air, and that's when you really don't pressure as much and you drop people back and make him make the right decisions, make him make the right reads against our secondary.
Who's good, though? It's that Ricky White III.
He's good.
That dude's good. He's really good. And Jackson Woodard, too. We highlighted Jackson Woodard and Jalen Cantalone, and both those guys led UNLV in tackles. At one point, I think LaQuinn Allen dragged one of them across the line. So, Jackson Woodard at the end of the game, they thought the call. I love the call at the end of the game, which was stopped by Woodard, and he ends up breaking out of that tackle. First and goal there, like Coach said, we're going to run the effing ball. They were getting in the end zone. Mm-hmm. If it didn't happen then, it would have happened second down, third down, or, God forbid you got to go to fourth down. They probably kicked a field goal. But anyway, they were getting in the end zone. LaQuinn made sure that we didn't have to sit to second down. That's it. That was true dog right there, breaking that tackle from Woodard at the end of the game.
Will. He had the one on 4th and 1 too that he broke and got in there.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it got to the end of the game, and even though their defense was on the field for almost 40 minutes against our offense, we still found a way to win, right? I mean, that's a one-on-one play right there, dude. Like that's all will. That's all will. That's all heart with the bum leg. Like, he still made it happen. And Jackson Woodard, it was good. It was a good play. He had a great game. Interception, had another dropped interception that could have probably ended the game. But you came in a little too high there, my dude.
Yeah, coming on LeQuint, yeah.
Yeah, if you're on the goal line, you don't go that high. You got to go to the legs, chop him down.
Yeah, he had him for a loss.
He would have had him for a loss if he went for his legs. Like I said, he went too high.
Yeah.
Allowed him to get underneath it and just drive his legs through. And as soon as he tried to change his level with his hands, LeQuint burst over the goal line. He just never stopped.
At Orange up north, never punt. I was thinking at one point that, gosh, I hope we don't have to ever punt again. Like, just don't punt.
Well, I don't think they were gonna.
I know. That's a problem, though. That's a problem. I was nervous when the one that got blocked and ended up being recovered in the end zone. I was nervous before that ball was even hiked.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you have been?
I mean,
I've already seen him do it to other teams. Like I said, Ricky White. It looked like there was some players on UNLV that are going to be playing on Sundays for sure. And Ricky White's going to be one of them, even if it's not breaking, the top three or starting receiver. He's at least going to find a way on a special teams. He'll be he'll be like the last receiver on the roster as a special teams guy.
Speaking of special teams, real quick, did you see Sean Tucker's? What was it, a punt return?
I did not.
In the Bucs game? Oh, okay. He almost broke it. He broke like 5-6 tackles. You
know what? I did see that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I would just turn that game on too. It was the Thursday night game or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Thursday night.
But anyways, I turned it on and that was what I saw. I'm like, is that Tucker? And they're like, oh, they said his name. And I was like, no shit, man. That was good. That was a good run. So anyway.
Special teams matters, dude, especially when you want to get to the NFL. I mean, look at Zaire Franklin right now.
Yeah.
He was like 6th or 7th round pick. And he made the roster because of special teams, and then was like the captain from special teams. Now this guy is, leading the league in tackles from year to year.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
At Saltine Warrior 4, the defense and special teams both suck. Tackling horrendous. Dart is as much of a joke as Dino's slogans were. McCord nearly throws 5 picks every game. Needs to take some off the short throws and work on placement. He's consistently thrown behind receivers. LeQuint equals Lion. That's a little harsh, I think. I don't think. The special teams right now. I wouldn't argue if you said special teams sucks. We'll definitely not argue with that. But I don't think the defense does. I think the defense is pretty good. They stepped up. Really, they stepped up when it mattered. And at the end of the day, that's all I care about. You can go ahead and we can criticize and talk about everything else. But, after the Stanford game, when we gave them the business for not covering their number one wide receiver on 4th down, they did. Fidel stepped up and had them kick that field goal, and that was huge for us winning this game. So, but in McCord, yeah, look, but to Tyler's point in the group text, he's gonna make some mistakes, but the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to Kyle McCord.
Oh, 100%.
So,
and mistakes are gonna happen, dude. It's about what you do to fix it in game, and then come back from that, and don't let it go to the next play or the next quarter or the next half. You just got to keep moving with it. There's something that we can critique every single game. There's going to be something we're going to be able to critique. At the end of the day, if people step up, make plays, and you win the game, then you survived, and now you have another week to fix the problems. And it's not always this unit sucks or this coach has got to go. It doesn't have to be as drastic as that. What if UNLV's offense was actually kind of good?
I think they are kind of good.
I know. That's my point.
Yeah. But that comment would make a little bit more sense in a loss, and they gritted it out. So I'm interested to see what Captain Pat's going to say here. Great win. UNLV is good. Okay? There's the point you're just making. They're going to win a lot of games. 2 wins against top 25 teams in 5 games is a big deal. That's That's a great point, that it's been the first 5 games to start the year, 2 top 25 teams. And like Coach said, the first time they beat 2 ranked teams in a season since 2001. And by my math, that's 23 years ago.
High school.
That was the year you graduated high school?
Yeah.
Jeez, that was the year I moved to Virginia Beach, too. So, 23 years, okay? I'm pretty proud of that. And let's just make it normal. You know what I'm saying? We can fire special teams. Oh, can we fire special teams coach now? Where would we be without Kyle McCord? Great question. Did he look banged up to you guys, to y'all? I don't think so. Oh, yeah, Facebook sucks, and Joe is nasty as F.
How about that?
Where would we be without Kyle McCord? That is a great question. And thank God we don't have to even... Thank God it's left to speculation and that we're not living it. Because I just... The only thing that's disappointing about Kyle McCord right now is that he doesn't have more eligibility. That's the only thing I don't like about Kyle McCord right now.
Day.
Huh?
I said, thank you, Ryan Day.
So, yeah.
My thing is even if he keeps going the way that he's going right now, wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to speculate, are you talking where would we be if, he got injured and we had to wait for somebody to come in, or if we just never got him? So if we didn't get him, then I'd have to assume that we would get another transfer quarterback. But I'd also have to safely assume that it wouldn't be better than what we're watching right now.
Right. And let's be honest. I don't think we deserved him. But he's putting Syracuse on the map. I mean, Kyle McCord and Fran Brown are putting Syracuse on the map right now. And if something did happen to Kyle McCord, you can go ahead and speculate there. We ain't going to be winning them games like that.
Oh, no.
I mean, we
don't even have to go into the depth on that.
I don't even want to pretend that. Yeah. So, that's not a dig on anybody. I'm just saying we need Kyle McCord healthy. I'm going to leave it there. At G Mosier 23 wasn't pretty, but it's a road win against the top 25 team. Got to clean up missed tackles and figure out special teams. Here's Dom at Baptized by Fire. This is the best team we've played all year. We blocked for McCord, and we won despite special teams sucking and terrible tackling. I love this team. No quit, all dogs. Yeah, that's a great point. It's not something I actually thought about, but they didn't. UNLV did not get to Kyle McCord once. So that's...
Well, that again went down to what we were talking about, right? In the pregame podcast.
Yeah.
Where we were speaking of
keeping him upright.
Getting the ball out of his hands early, right?
Yeah.
Getting the ball to LeQuint. LeQuint had 9 catches. Shorter routes. We saw
a lot of that, especially after they kind of stalled on offense in the first half. We saw him kind of switch to that to just get the ball moving down the field.
Yeah, I mean, he did that a lot, though. I mean, he threw the ball. I mean, he had 40 completions. I think he averaged like 5.5 yards a carry.
5.6, yeah. Or wait, you're talking about LeQuint?
Sorry.
You're talking about per throw. Per completion, yeah.
Yes. That's what I meant to say. So, yeah, I think he had to do that to kind of offset UNLV and let them know real early that, you might as well not blitz.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really what it was, right? So,
yeah.
But I mean, he made some great plays, too, after the fact. He eluded some trap. And the one in the second half where he eluded the rusher, and he kind of spun out and went to the left and threw across his body to Arande down the sideline.
Yes.
I mean, that amazing pass, amazing play. Things like that. If you have that in your arsenal and you can get the ball out of your hands quick, then you can kind of alleviate a lot of that blitzing and rushing and stuff. And I think that was what we went in there to do.
Yeah, took care of it. At No Blanchard 44, special teams is awful. Fran needs to learn to double team the opposing team's best receiver, and LeQuint Allen is very good. Yeah, I mean, Ricky White was going to go out and do something anyway. I just,
he was going to make a play.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a 53-yarder. I mean, I think that you can make a case that we kind of did contain him. I mean, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, they everything that they got was based upon a lot of big plays and not sustained drives like what we had. A 42-yard run, a 53-yard pass, 2 blocked punts, right? I mean, they had a couple of nice drives, but I felt like our defense did a little, bend, not break when we weren't giving up big plays, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like they gave up too many, I guess.
No.
The tackling is probably the tackling is more of an issue than the size of the plays they were giving up, I think. But, I mean, I don't know. At B Musso 222, rough defensive game, but they stood when they needed to. Thankfully, UNLV had the rough in the passer penalty that gave Cuse the needed first. Rest up and get ready for a big one in Raleigh.
And I just don't understand those questions or those comments.
What's that? Rough defensive game?
Yes. Like, what is the expectation when you're going on the road playing a 9 p.m. game and
I think it comes down to the 21 unanswered.
There's top 25 team.
I understand that. I'm playing devil's advocate here. Don't get mad at me. Okay, don't do that shit.
I'm not mad at you.
I'm just playing.
I'm passionate.
I was frustrated too at one point. So it was frustrating. Yes. And
but what was frustrating about it? If you take away the punt block,
21 unanswered points is frustrating. It's frustrating to go up by 14 and then deal with that. It sucks. It's part of the game. Look, but as fans, we get in our feels and we say things that we don't necessarily mean. We get, that's why I like to take a step back from the emotional side of sports sometimes and just let it be what it is. Mm-hmm. There ain't shit we can do about it. So
you're going to lose some plays, man. Like you're not going to. It is what it is. And you're playing, like I said, first time on the road in the West Coast against a top 25 team that just put up 50-plus points. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the expectations are. Like you're going to hold everybody to.
I understand where you're coming from, and that's even, who knows? I don't even think anybody could articulate exactly what their expectations are when it comes to any aspect, right? I can barely articulate what my expectations are of a good season. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it when you see it type thing. You know what I mean? Like, I guess just comes down to perception. Perception is reality for people. And so...
I guess for me, I just look at it in... Yeah, they had some yardage, but when you look at everything, the time of possession and first downs, third down efficiencies, things like that, and Deuce got an interception. You take away. The defense really isn't even a part of the punt block stuff. So, if you take that all away, then did the defense play good?
Yeah, but you can't cherry pick it. By the way, someone put up pictures of the stadium, and you can see that was there, and you can see here's another reason. Let me tell you what. Here's the problem. Because I was a Raiders fan, right? The problem with playing in Vegas is that you never have a true home game because people make that a destination spot to go watch their team play, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm probably going to retweet these, but the whole, like you said, the whole third and fourth level is covered up. The second level is not covered up, but there's not a single person in those seats. The first level is spotty. It's spotty, but it's not terrible. However, the whole one side of this field looks like Syracuse fans. So it doesn't look like they just had a section. Looks like they had a half. And
you could hear them.
You could hear Let's Go Orange chants throughout the game. But my point is that that being in Vegas is a disadvantage to some extent for people who play there. And anyway, I never saw I know now maybe why they didn't show this on TV. Again, that's kind of what I speculated. But with that said, I just thought it was interesting because I just saw it. Because
there's 36,000 people there.
That's not bad. It's not terrible. It's probably 18,000 Syracuse fans. So, I mean, I went to high school with I graduated with a couple guys that live in Vegas. So I'm sure they were there, But anyway, what do you got? Because I don't think I'm going to get to these anyway. I'm not even halfway through them. So let's go ahead and hit some Facebook stuff up to balance it out a tiny bit, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Okay, so Johnny Carlin needed that win for a lot of reasons. I think a loss there could have started the downward spiral. Offense did a great job sustaining drives. Defense gave up too many chunk plays and needs to wrap up when they make hits. Special teams is an abomination. McCord is our best special teams player. He was able to pin UNLV inside their 20 with that interception. Thankfully, he threw that interception, or else we probably would have tried a field goal, which would have inevitably
that is so good.
Which would have inevitably been blocked and returned for a touchdown.
Dude, that is you should have saved that to last, because we could have ended the show with that. That's the best analysis on this game that I've heard so far. It's better than ours. Golly. That is, I love snarky, and that was perfect.
That was pretty good.
Does not get much better. Okay. What else, Joe?
Top fan Dave Rowley. I think it's nowhere near this close I think it's nowhere near this close without what appears to be the worst special teams performance I think I've seen. Defense had a challenging night but made plays. Offense looked very good. 2 ranked opponents so far, 2 wins.
Yeah, half of their wins came against ranked opponents. So there's that.
Brian Levy, it takes a certain special kind of team to overcome having 2 punts blocked and throwing a key red zone interception. It's going to be hard to go right to sleep. And then
that was me, by the way.
Yes, there's probably a lot of us. And then the comment was he had a comment from Zach, our boy Zach, who said, "A few more Bush lattes. No way I'm coming down from that adrenaline rush. LOL."
I like it. Yeah, that meme, dude. That's the thing. Thankfully, this wasn't like I know that's rare, but it's happened. Like a Thursday night game at 8. That would have sucked. It went in like that. It'd be just damn near impossible to go to bed.
Shit.
Huh?
I would have put in a PTO day, or I would have put in a vacation day for Friday. That's what I would have done for sure.
Well, I mean, I hear you. At dbone75, nice comeback win. What the F is the deal with special teams? 14 points off a blocked punt and a botched punt. Great game for Kyle and LeQuint. Coach needs to figure the special teams out sooner rather than later. Team penalties were an issue again. This special teams is going to be under the microscope, needless to say, for the foreseeable future. So until we start kicking field goals and not kicking stuff out of bounds and not having and blocking on the line to not have stuff blocked, it's going to be front and center. So I have no reason to believe that this coaching staff, and that's all of them, can't get it fixed, and along with the players. So
that's going to be
UNLV's specialty, guys. By the way, you're going to see they're going to do it again. And it's not just us. They're going to do it again, and who knows how many times they freaking do it. I mean, but that's their thing. It's their niche. They're good at it. It is what it is. Unfortunately. So with that said, my point is kind of like, how much do we put on that? I mean, look, you lose the game and you put everything on it, right? You win the game, and I can kind of give a small pass, although it's unacceptable. I can give a small pass because of who did it. Now, if it happens again next week, now that's a problem.
That was going to be my point. Like, how freaking just stressed out every Syracuse fan's going to be next week when we go to punt for the first time.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean,
let me get some. I got some top fans in here, and
all right, get
one
some top
from Joe.
fans out of the way.
Let's get the top fan, Michael DeLello, top fan. What a game! What a finish! Was totally worth the overtime at midnight.
Yeah, I mean, that was tough.
It was tough,
Going into
but
overtime.
If it was a bad game, then it would have been all for naught. People would have been a little upset. Top fan, Robert Gaffredo. As rough as the special teams are, this offense is amazing. I'll give a lot of credit to UNLV. Their defense is very sound, fundamental tackling. Take the win. Yeah, until that last play.
What's that?
Sound fundamental tackling.
Oh, yeah,
for UNLV.
Yeah, but I mean, with that said, Woodard had 14 tackles and Catalone had 17. Our leading tackler, Bellamy, had 7. Those guys tackled nearly every play between the two of them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No, they got a good defense for the Mountain West. Good luck against Boise State and that running back. But other than that,
some serious talent. I mean, those guys are talented.
Yep. Top fan, Andy Stewart.
Okay.
That's a program building win and a confidence builder, something we lacked the past few years. Great win.
Yeah, it was a good win.
So, yeah, I mean, that to me is kind of, I think Andy's usually pretty even keel when it comes to this stuff, He's just happy we won, realizes, can he sit here and exploit all the problems that we had? Probably.
He also is in the comments quite a bit. He knows that people can do that work for him. He doesn't have to.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, there's nothing worse than going through the fan feedback and having everything be extremely repetitive. Because that doesn't...
And negative.
Well, yeah.
Even after a win.
Even after a win, yeah. But, even more than that, it's like that's what we use to build the show off of. So it's like... you don't want to keep talking about the same damn thing over and over again. I understand, it was kind of a glaring issue, but, maybe read some of the comments before you do them. Who was the one? Who was the one with the really snarky comment? That was creative. I want to see more of that.
Johnny Carlin.
Okay. Johnny Carson. Anyway.
No, that was pretty good.
It was good.
And then the last one I'm going to read from Facebook. Joe, my boy Joe Pasick. He says, I just came to say you're welcome. I took the blame for the Stanford loss, and now I want the credit I deserve for this win. I bet on UNLV, and the mush worked. Great win, boys.
Keep doing that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to tell Joe. Why are you don't bet on your team, bet against them. Either you win money or they win. Whatever. Right? It's kind of, it's not a win-win, really. It's not. But, at the end of the day, you see the silver lining there.
You're hedging your bet. But I did take Syracuse with the points, so.
Okay. Whatever. All right. I think that's going to do it. I think we all get the point. And with that said, it doesn't get much easier. 2 more road games at NC State and at Pitt, right? Is Pitt the next one after NC State?
Yeah, we got a bye squeeze in there.
Oh, that's right. The NC State, the bye, and then Pitt. Correct. Okay.
Yes.
So
it's going to be. Well, I call
it's probably a good little break. We'll probably get Marlowe Wax back for
That's
Pitt.
what I was going to say. It's NC State, then the Marlowe watch week, and then Pittsburgh.
Well, that works out pretty good. Works out really good, actually.
No, considering Pittsburgh's 5-0 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, who have they played?
Teams.
Exactly. Is North Carolina their toughest, strongest competition? Yeah. Huh?
Maybe West Virginia.
Yeah, it's Duke coming in 5 or 4. Where would they come in? 5-0 or 4-0 last week or this week?
I think 4-0.
Okay.
It might have been 5-0.
But they played their toughest game was against UNC, and we all know who UNC is right now. And then they get beat by Georgia Tech. Well, they should have got beat by Georgia Tech, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think they're proven that they're that good. So, anyways,
5-0. Yep.
They were 5-0 coming into that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they haven't played anybody. They played.
Well, that kind of tells you, right? Duke was 5-0. Pittsburgh was 4-0. Neither of them are ranked. I wonder if Pittsburgh will be after this week. But Pittsburgh, they won a 1-point game at Cincinnati, and a 4-point game against West Virginia, and that's a rivalry, backyard brawl.
Right. True.
Game against Kent State and then Youngstown State, their D1AA, so a MAC team in their D1AA school. So, but they've played a couple teams from the Big 12.
Okay, well, I'll give it to them. I mean, they're by eye a talented team. I've watched a couple of their games, and they look to be a potential problem.
Sometimes you get caught up in like what they looked like last year. And I think we all remember, that was when Valari and LaQuinn Allen went and did the read option, and we beat them, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of destroyed them, actually, dominated them. So, but now in the day of the transfer portal and NIL, you can flip a team around real quick. And obviously they didn't have a quarterback last year. They got a quarterback this year. So, Pitt's a different team than we thought they were in the beginning of the year for sure.
I mean, you could say the same thing for us. I mean, talk about getting in the transfer portal and doing some things. I mean, Syracuse was on life support last year, and look at them now. So anyway,
yeah, fair.
All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, we appreciate you spending time with us, being part of the show, especially on the socials. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, rate the podcast if you would. If you love it, do it. Help spread the word for us. And we will see you next time. For Joe and Sean, we're out.
Peace.